Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. In this video, I am going to explain Employee Provident Fund, that is EPF, and coming to the topics: applicability of EPF, EPF contribution rates, filing and payment due dates, interest and penalty for late payment, documents for EPF registration, and EPF registration process, and employer responsibilities, and other topics which is connected to the Employee Provident Fund. EPF is a retirement scheme which is maintained by Employee Provident Fund organization, and both employer and employee will contribute to the EPF. Both employer and employee will contribute to the EPF account, and whatever the share of the employee, it will be deducted by the employer from the employee salary, and whatever the interest earned from this investment of EPF on that amount, also interest amount will credited to the EPF account. At the time of retirement of the employee, total employer share and employee share and interest on that amount also will credited to the employee account. Applicability of EPF registration for employers. The EPF scheme is mandatory, applies to all establishments that have employed a minimum of 20 people, that is 20 employees. So whatever the employment or entity is having more than 20 employees, then that employees must have to register for the EPF registration, and the employer must obtain EPF registration within 1 month of the attaining of the employee strength. So once the strength of employees exceed more than 20 employees, immediately within 1 month the employer has to register for the EPF registration. Any establishment which has been covered under this act once shall continue to be governed by the act, even if the number of persons employed therein at any time fall below 20. Establishment has joined more than 20 employees, then the entity is registered for EPF, and later the number of employees fall down to below 20 employees, then also the EPF is applicable for that entity. Establishment with less than 20 employees can also opt for voluntary registration, and all the employees of such an establishment will be eligible for EPF right from the beginning of the employment. Any organization or entity want to apply for EPF registration, even though they have less than 20 employees, they can apply for EPF registration by voluntary basis. So those employees is eligible for EPF from the beginning of the establishment, that is date of incorporation from the establishment, the employees are eligible for EPF. However, suppose any establishment stop its operations or continue without any employee, then this scheme is not applicable. In any case, the establishment, they don't have any operations and they don't have any employee, then this scheme of EPF is not applicable. Employees drawing a salary up to 15,000 per month have to compulsory contribute to the Provident Fund, and employees drawing more than 15,000 have an option to become a member of the Provident Fund. Those employees who draw monthly salary less than 15,000, then they have to compulsory contribute for EPF, and those employees drawing monthly salary more than 15,000, it is their option. If they are interested means they can contribute, otherwise no. Any establishment which employs 20 or more employees except apprentice and casual laborers, and every employee including contract laborer who is receipt of salary up to 15,000 per month is covered by this act. So the limit of 20 employees have to exclude any apprentice, that is any trainee, and casual laborers. So these two persons have to remove from the limit of 20, and any employees who are working as a laborers and drawing monthly salary 15,000, they are also applicable for EPF. What do you mean by salary? Salary for this purpose is only basic salary and dearness allowance. Also remember that if your salary at the time of entity is rupees 15,000 or less than that, but after any few years or month, if your salary revised then raised to more than 15,000, then this case the members continue in this scheme. For the purpose of PF, we need to consider the limit of 15,000. We have to consider only basic salary and dearness allowance, and in case any employee drawing less than 15,000 and in future he exceeding the limit of 15,000, in that case also that employee eligible for PF and he will continue to contribute EPF. EPF contribution rates. The whole 12% of an employee's salary, that is basic salary plus dearness allowance, goes to the EPF account, while the employer contribution is divided among the following: 8.33% to the pension fund and 3.67% to the EPF fund. We discussed salary includes only basic salary and dearness allowance for the calculation of the limit of 15,000. So on that we have to apply 12% for PF contribution. Both employer and employee will equally contribute to the EPF. In case of employee, the total 12% of the salary will credited to the EPF account, and in case of employee, only 3.67 will credited to the EPF account, and balance 8.36% on the salary it credited to the pensions fund. This limit of 15,000 is not equal to all employees. In case employee draw less than 15,000, that is 10,000, then we have to apply 12% on 10,000. In case employee draw more than 15,000, in that case we have to consider up to 15,000, that is maximum 15,000 we have to consider 12%. In case less than 15,000, that minimum amount I have to consider. Let's take example. Salary details of Mr. A. That is basic salary is 10,000, dearness allowance is 5,000 and other allowances is 5,000. So total salary is 20,000. For the purpose of PF calculations, we have to consider salary includes only dearness allowance and basic salary. That is base salary 10,000 and dearness allowance is 5,000. So total 15,000 we have to consider for calculation of PF. So based on our previous example, we will calculate EPF. Coming to the right side, that is employee contribution. Our salary include basic salary plus dearness allowance, that is 15,000. So on that 15,000 we have to apply 12%. So 1,800 it will contribute to the EPF in case of employee, and in case of employer on 15,000 8.33, that is 1249 is contribute to the employee pension scheme, and balance 3.67, that is 551, it will contribute to the employee provident fund. In case any employee draw less than 15,000, that is basic salary and dearness allowance less than 15,000, let's take 10,000. In that case the 12% is applicable on 10,000, and in case of employer 8.33 and 3.67 is applicable on 10,000. In case employee draw more than 15,000, then we have to consider the maximum amount of 15,000 only. Filing and payment of EPF. EPF is dated from every employer salary and payment due date is by 15th of the following month. Example, EPF for the month of April we need to file before 15th of May, and payment also before 15th May. So both filing date and payment date is same. So in case of April month we have to file next month 15th, that is May 15th. Interest and penalty for late fee. If there is any delay in EPF payment beyond specified due date, then interest of 12% per annum applies an employer for every single day delay in depositing EPF contribution. In case employer not paid PF amount within the due date, then 12% per annum interest need to be paid by the employer. Coming to the penalty section, in case of challan payment failure, these penalties will apply. 1.5% per annum for delay up to 2 months. So in case employer not paid within the 2 months after the due date, then 1.5% per annum interest have to pay as a penalty, and 2.1% per annum in case of more than 2 months but less than 4 months, then 2.1% penalty as a interest you have to pay, and 3.1% per annum for delay more than 4 months but less than 6 months, and 25% per annum for delay more than 6 months. And this is the brief summary. Employee Provident Fund registration is mandatory for you as an employer when your organization employee strength exceeds 20 employees. So once exceed the number of employees more than 20, then registration is mandatory, and you have to pay EPF contribution within 15 days of the next month. So in case of this month we have to pay next month 15th, that is following month 15th date we have to pay and file the return. If you fail to make the payment within the due date, you will be added to the defaulter list and we have to pay as a penalty for the default period. So we have to pay with penalty and interest for the same. How EPF scheme works? Under this scheme, both employer and employee contribute equally to the EPF account every month. However, it is employer responsibility to deposit the whole amount to the EPF account. Generally, the employer share is deducted from their monthly salary. Normally, employer share he will pay, and along with employee share also he will deducted from the employee salary, and that amount both employer and employee share he will deposited by the employer. This is the employer responsibility, and you have to file and within the due date and pay to the EPF department. For all such EPF transfers, it is mandatory for employee to have a UAN, that is Universal Account Number, which is allotted by EPFO. The UAN acts as an umbrella for multiple members' IDs allotted to individual by different employers. The intent is to link the multiple IDs of an individual under the unique number. UAN, Universal Account Number, which is mandatory for all employees relating to PF, and it is allotted by EPF organization, and once the UAN is allotted to employee, the same UAN can be used in case employee change one employer to another employer. The following documents is required for EPF registration in case of proprietorship or company or trust or partnership firm. The following documents are partnership deed for firms, incorporation certificate for companies, trust deed in case of trust, ID proofs of directors or partners or trust members, and list of all directors or partners or trust members along with their contact details, proof of address such as electric bill or water bill or telephone bill of register office not older than 2 months, and PAN, ID and residential address proofs and mobile numbers in case of sole proprietorship, and DSC of director or partner or trust member, and memorandum of association and articles of association in case of company, and Aadhaar card of proprietor or partner or director, and shop and establishment certificate or GST certificate or any license issued by government for the establishment, and rental deed or lease agreement if any. In case the establishment is factory, then details to be provided are factory license number, date of license and place of issue of license. If the establishment is MSME, then MSME registration details to be provided. The employer must provide an email ID and mobile number of authorized person. Name and address of the establishment, details of head office and all branches if any, incorporation date of establishment, fill in the details of your employees' total number of strength, legal status of a company, whether it is a private company or public company, partner bank details, PAN card of the proprietor or partner or director, total salary component of the employees basic details such as name, date of joining, salary and so on, and designation and address of the directors or partners or owners, and some other documents relating to above entities, GST certificate if it registered under GST, cross cancel check, salary and EPF statement, name and address of the partner bank, salary and wages register, all vouchers, balance sheet from day 1 to the date of applying for registration, date of joining of the employees along with their date of birth and father name, monthly employee strength record. EPF registration process. Go to EPF website www.epfindia.gov.in and click Establishment Registration tab. Click on Sign Up button. Give your name, email ID and mobile number, and also enter verification code and click on Sign Up to the create your PF account. And after that, select registration for EPFO ESIC and then click on Apply for new registration and upload whatever the applicable documents regarding to your entity and submit. And after submission, you have to register your digital signature to authentication, and you will get confirmation email with a confirming that your EPF registration has been completed. Employer responsibility. Once the EPF registration done for the employer, then employer register a new employee into EPF scheme using Form 11. However, it is not submitted to the EPF office, and employer should verify the details provided by the employees. Any error in the personal details should be rectified by the employer before linking UAN with the other. Employers have to generate UAN for employees and who have existing UAN, and to generate new UAN, the employer have to log into EPF portal. It is the responsibility of the employer to provide KYC details of its employees to in the EPF portal. An employer should verify the details before employees upload their KYC details in online. It can be done with the DSC. An employer have to pay EPF contribution every month to the EPFO. The due date for EPF is 15th of the following month. Employers have to file monthly returns within 15th of the following month and annual returns 25th of the April of next year. An employer should inform UAN and EPF member ID to their employees. EPF registration for employees. An employer need to register all their employees on EPF portal. If an individual was previously employed and already has UAN, then the employer need to register them as an employee using the existing UAN, Aadhaar number, date of birth and the name. So no need to generate new UAN in case of existing UAN employees. If the individual was not employed anywhere before, the employer will have to register the individual as their employee and generate new UAN. The following documents or information is required for employee UAN generation: name, date of birth, gender, nationality and marital status of the employee, date of joining, monthly wages as on date of joining. And for KYC details, the employee have to submit the following documents: bank account details, Aadhaar card details which is mandatory, and PAN card and driving license or passport. Okay friends, thanks for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.